actually, he does this the whole time. Usually I go like this. Oh, fuck off. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, we're recording. Oh, shit. Fuck. And so it's like the running joke with this podcast. Hello, Milarki people.
Hello.
Friends.
Family.
No, we don't have family.
Relationships.
So,
is this actually YouTubers only now, Rob?
Oh, hello. Oh, no, thugs. Oh, no.
The only ones over here, yeah.
We're live in Kim's Kitchen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the TV show Kim's Convenience.
What's cooking in the kitchen?
Yeah, what's cooking? Yeah. It's going to get hot and spicy.
Yeah.
The thing that is cooking is right over here.
Where did you get that fetching medal?
Yeah. In the mail. I actually made it myself.
I thought you
could be the best fucking answer ever. Where did you get them? In the mail, yeah.
I thought you said from a mail. I was like, what the hell?
No, from a maid.
From the mail. Yeah.
No.
So what do one have to do to get such a medal then?
Sheet and bribe the TO.
Wow, like the French team at Worlds. There you go. That's some spicy drama to get the show started.
Yeah. So, hello, hi, and welcome to Casual Friday. I'm Kim.
I'm Anders.
I'm Rob.
We're actually having Rob here.
Yeah.
Yes. It's a pleasure to be here, actually. So thanks for having me on the show. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Nice to have you here, Rob.
Okay, thanks. Good.
Looking forward to this
Okay.
like a long time.
Kim thinks it's okay to have me here. Not too impressed.
Or James, as we call him, on this project.
Why?
Because he looks like James Warcraft.
You look like James O'Brien, an American TO, which is very odd. So there's two Jameses you look like.
So which James do I look the most like? It's like...
That's actually... I'm going to have to do...
Should we do like...
I'll do
put these two pictures up here, and you have to vote in below.
Oh, that's great, because the comments are a good thing for YouTube, right?
Yeah, that's because of voting.
So we got one on all the videos. So
the 1,
comment down below.
2, and 3. Down below.
So you got to send me a picture of these guys.
Yes, I will. No
throw
problem.
it in there.
Easy.
All right, perfect. So now we actually have Rob on here. Why are you here? Like, at all?
Well... So sorry for being here. Well, you guys invited me. You're running an event, which I'm very much looking forward to, because you guys do the Milarki website, which I'm excited about, and I think that's a cool thing. And also,
I love the fact that you pronounce it right this time.
Have you
been training?
Time does amazing things.
I've been swinging for 10. Yeah, I'm trying. It's learning is hard.
The whole train ride over here last night, he was like Milarki.
It's what does it stand for again?
It's our names.
Oh,
so it's Michael
Larson
as his last name, and Kim for Key.
Oh, awesome! Because that's how IKEA is named.
It is.
Yeah,
you learned it last night.
Yeah, it says and it's.
And there wasn't a website, and it wasn't a website that had Milarki.com. And it's also a bit funny, like for Malarkey, it's bullshit in the US, right?
Yeah. So
it's a good name, you know.
It's a good name for that. Yeah. Okay. Great.
There's a lot of malarkey in this show.
And between you two, yeah. I came over to hang out. Really, I rarely actually do this. Like, as in, normally when I travel for work. Yeah. But Bobbin's always been super funny, and we talked loads in the chat. And I was like, yeah, let's go have a great time. And I'm playing some Warhammer this weekend, so I'm excited about that. Yeah. Because again, I rarely get to do that, so incredibly lucky to be able to come over, and thank you. But I'm super looking forward to the weekend generally. And also, huge fan of the Swedish community. Like, I can't not describe, like, every time I've interacted, anyone who's ever watched my show a lot will know that I used to have Jonathan on the show a lot of the time. And Jonathan's been a great representation for the Swedish community. Yeah. Swedish team at Worlds are hilarious. Like, every time I've interacted with Swedish people, they've been great. So it seemed like a no-brainer to come over.
I hope we're not going to disappoint you this time then. So we've got a lot of expectations on it.
I've only been drunk one time during, like, your chat. Yeah. And tonight you're going to see me a bit more drunker.
Oh boy!
To kick up the show, did you know that Anders, his father's made the intro for the podcast?
I did not know that.
Yeah. It is true, yeah.
Oh, did he
actually?
You can find him on Spotify.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. I will do that later.
So let's
go there then.
Cue intro.
Cue intro.
He's not a dick. He's a bit of a dick. Like, I don't know.
But we have peeked behind the curtain now. Just to hang out with you is so fucking great.
Oh, good. Yeah, I know all the secrets. That's what I trade in.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I trade in. I've got so many backroom WhatsApp groups. They're like, Rob, here's the secrets. I'm like, I love that.
And this is why they can never shut me down. I have so much dirt on everyone.
They can
never
take
shut
away
me down.
our freedom.
Well, about Braveheart.
I love that, yeah.
So Rob,
hello.
Welcome to Sweden.
Oh, thank you very much. It's lovely to be here.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Should we just try to get known?
Let's just start with every questions ever asked in every podcast.
Okay.
So, hey, Rob, how did you get into this hobby? It's like the most lamest question.
No, it's actually a good question because, you know...
Well, at that time, I was working as a magician in a travelling roadshow. What?
Really? All right, let's do this then.
And then my weekend job, I was actually a court jester at one of them night shows. You know, when you go buy your dinner and they do like jousting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the cable guy movie.
Like in the Cable Guy. Yeah. And then I thought, my life is a bit dull right now. It's a bit monotonous. Things were just kind of happening every day. So I was like, I need something new.
Okay, so if that's like a dull life, then you should not live my life. Then.
So I'm from Nottingham,
Yeah.
and so I'm near Warhammer World.
You got to get like a jousting place in Nottingham?
Yeah, none of that is real, unfortunately.
So the T-spot area is it doesn't have tables.
Yeah.
A couple of horses and jousting. That's it.
Yeah.
So I
Sorry.
went to my friends were like, you should. One of my friends brought some Warhammer over to my house. I was like, I used to play this as a kid. We should play. We played. It was great fun. And then we went to the Warhammer World because it's maybe like 8 minutes from where I was living at the time.
How old are you at this point?
I think I'm 30.
Oh, really? That's late.
Yeah, it's late. Yeah, no, I understand. I played computer games my whole life. You know, I played things like World of Warcraft. I always liked things like Total War. So I like strategy games. Played loads of JRPGs and stuff. So that was kind of like my bag anyway. So, and I'd read a lot of fantasy and sci-fi, like a lot of other people, but I hadn't really been exposed to Warhammer. But Warhammer is, at that time, because it was Warhammer Fantasy Battle. Warhammer Fantasy Battle was just a rip-off of every other fantasy that's ever existed. Yeah. Like, you know, they're all self-referencing. Yeah. So I was like, this is cool. And then I think I picked up Ogres as my first army. And then, we went and played. And then I just lost a lot because my friend just kept purple sunning all my ogres and they're really stupid and they just died. I was like, oh. And then I got into, and then this has always been kind of my origin story. This is my Lex Luthor origin story. Like where I kept dying. I kept losing. Like we would spend a lot of time and like, when you first get into the hobby, building and painting is such a stressful thing. Am I doing it right? I don't know what to do. And this is, I mean, I'm sure there were probably YouTube videos out at that point, but not as many as there are now. But the thing is I just did not know why I was losing. I didn't really understand. My guys would just die to this big spell that was cast them all the time. And I was like, oh. So then I started to go onto the internet to look for stuff. And I couldn't find a solution. Like, there was just lots of like different threads. And they were like, oh, your army is based around movement. That's what makes it really good. And I was like, okay. And then I would try, like, I'd buy some more terrain and I'd try and move around a building and then the sun would still get me. And I was like, what? And then eventually I just bought a new army. And then I kept buying new armies at the time.
I love the fact that 10 years from this story, you actually made a T-shirt that said "Purple Fun" on it, and just sold those all over the world. So now the circle is complete.
Yeah, all the way around. Yeah, but that's my origin story. Where whenever I think back, whenever I make any content, I'm always very conscious of that very first Rob, who was like, "I love my big fat dudes." But they die all the time.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. No problem. That's why I'm becoming one. But yeah, so that's how I got into it, and that's like and then it just snowballed from there, really.
Nice.
Yeah.
So it's we started pretty early.
Well, I have the same story that most of them probably our 31 viewers have.
Yeah.
But I started a little bit, didn't know anything. I quit to try to get some girls. Didn't work at all.
Yeah.
And met you and started again.
Yeah. So I just skipped the girl part and just kept going.
Just kept going the whole way.
I was trying to do the girl part.
I started Sister Battle. It was close enough.
Oh, so you painted your own girls then, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the They were too small, to be honest. But and it just kept going from there.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So the hopefully is the new ogre release, only by Iron Blasters and Nubblers, but some ogre girls.
There's a great Blood Bowl ogre cheerleader lady.
I know.
She looks.
She's not the
fabulous.
Trog hag though.
She's not the Trog hag. No, obviously she's a princess, but she's still a beautiful woman in her own right.
In her own right. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on.
Okay.
Okay. So do we question one and cut, or do we still talk about this?
No.
Oh, get a little bit redder.
Yeah.
A little bit redder. Yeah.
No.
No.
Stone faced. Hello.
But so what made you decide to become like a content creator then? You know, because most people know you now as the Honest Wargamer.
Yeah.
So when you decide, okay, I'm going to move into to digital content creation.
So I went to a pretty major event at the time, which was called the South Coast GT, and I did quite well at the event, which was cool.
What's it called?
It was called the South Coast GT.
South Coast GT.
But me and Nathan were going to a lot of tournaments. I'd met him playing Warhammer Fantasy Battle. It was the first Age of Sigmar tournament game ever, and then we played at tournaments together, which was super fun. So we'd travel around. Our friend Mark as well, Mark Wildman. And then we were just having loads of fun going to these events. And when Warhammer Fantasy Battle switched into Age of Sigmar, Warhammer Fantasy Battle kind of like fell apart a little bit. And then a lot of the content creators kind of moved away. Or when they did then play Age of Sigmar, many of them were affiliated with Games Workshop. So there were some inherent problems with the game and some of the things. And so it didn't really feel like there was anyone who was making like, not non-biased, because everyone has their own bias, but no one was really making their own thing. So then me and Nathan started this podcast called Bravery One, which was not good at all.
If you can find those, link those down below.
Yeah, send them to us. We want to hear them. So
please don't. We watched. We created the Bravery One podcast, which was saucy is the best way to describe it. Because at that point, there was no intention to be a content creator for like work. Yeah, and even now, I'm not a very good like. I should be very professional and never really have an opinion as a content creator. Like we just had fun, made cups of tea halfway through the show, like all that other stuff. Dogs would bark because we both had dogs at the time, and we did that, and then that slowly led into me working into Games Workshop. Hilariously, seems like they just love terrible content.
Failing it.
So we have
failing upwards.
So I just failed upwards, a classic Games Workshop technique.
So we have a shot, Kim.
We have a shot. Yeah.
If you continue to do really bad content,
they're gonna call us.
Could be there.
But waiting for a call. Got to publish our phone numbers down in the comments.
Yeah. If you need,
you can call us. Games Workshop. James, call me.
My brother, come on now.
What I liked about it though is we all have those conversations. Like it was just me and my friend reading through a book. That's all we would do. We would just do Battletome reviews, but we wouldn't do it seriously. We'd just literally flip a book and then just be like reading about it and then just having jokes and talking about stuff. And that's how we would do it. And it was fun because that's what I liked about it. It wasn't that it didn't have a large audience. Although I think it was quite successful actually, like people all over the world still talked about it a bit, but like that wasn't really the point. It was just me and my friend having a laugh. So, and that's what we do it for, right? Having fun.
Yeah.
And usually that shine through, especially when you go to Honest Wargamer and you see yourself do live. You feel very genuine, like it comes through.
Oh yeah. It's most fun when you're doing it with people though. Like this is so much more engaging than like I've really developed an ability to do it with a chat.
Yeah.
Like, and it just be me in a room, because I feel like it feels like there's other co-hosts, but this is my best version. Yeah. Like this is the Honest Wargame started out actually as people in a room.
Yeah.
Like always. So like obviously pandemic and other stuff changed how we did it, but that would be the best version is to always do it with people in a room. That's the best.
So then, but the current incarnation of the Honest Wargamer, with the Twitch. And now it's spilling on to YouTube. Well, when did that start?
Oh, that started.
What's the process there?
That started after I left Games Workshop.
Yeah.
So I was at Games Workshop for maybe a year and a half.
Okay.
I was like in their marketing department. I was pretty integral in setting up a lot of their like online stuff, like their Twitch show, like the Warhammer TV stuff. And then I left because like the work environment was unfortunately,
Yeah.
I know that's really rough for people who really love the hobby, but the work environment was, I would describe as pretty abusive.
Could you say that you switched to another precinct?
Yes, I did. Yeah, I'd had enough of that precinct and I moved. Yeah, no, and it was sad because I did really want to stay at the Games Workshop because the thing that I like doing is shooting and editing video.
Yeah.
And then I like Warhammer, so if I get to do two things I like at the same time,
Yeah.
what an amazing job! And I think that that's true for a lot of people who work there.
Yeah, well, that's true about like Google or Facebook, or if you're a computer genius, like okay, working at Google is like I can do what I love, being paid as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there are people who love like spreadsheets and all sorts of stuff, right?
Yeah,
There's
sure.
weird
Like-
people everywhere.
Yeah, there's weird people everywhere.
And that's why they're good at Warhammer. We decided, right? Like really, really weird people.
They're great at Warhammer.
They're great at
Yeah,
Warhammer.
Yeah,
If you're a normal person, you could be good.
yeah. Exactly. So yeah, like then I left. I left specifically because I'd asked to go back to being an editor
Yeah.
and not being in front of the camera. So, which sounds odd now, seeing as I'm in front of the camera a lot, but that's mainly because I'm a one-man band. Like if I
It's
yeah.
But so basically you acquired a lot of the practical skills while setting up Warhammer and things like, and then when you went over to yourself, you okay, now I know I want to do something like this. And
Yeah, and it's been a learning process,
Yeah.
like as well, like as every creator, you guys with what you're doing. I'm sure in like 2 years' time, it will. Maybe it won't, but it might look different to what you originally had
probably
planned.
not. Hopefully,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's a really exciting thing about Warhammer itself is that, like, sure, building and painting miniatures is a creative process. Playing a game is also a creative process
Yeah.
as well. But then there's everything around it, which is a creative process, which is actually quite fun.
Yeah. I would say that the creative part is the reason why Warhammer is. I think it's so big because everyone find their own place in it.
Yes.
So if you go those who paint, they like to paint. Those who like to play, like Anders here, likes to win. Yeah, there's a place for them.
I'm just.
And then for my league, I like to.
It's from a 2-in-1 tournament. I mean, it's not that great. I mean, I'm so proud of it, but it's not really that great. But still,
But I'm proud of you.
oh, thanks, man.
Winning a game though is really important.
Yeah.
Like, because going back to that story about young Rob, you just being like, I won a game is such a great thing.
Yeah.
Because like if you go to the pub for a Saturday or you go and watch someone else do something, actively being involved in something where you participated and you won something,
Yeah.
even if it's the easiest game in the world or whatever, it feels wonderful.
Yeah.
Like, and I think it's one of the attractive things about playing the game.
Yeah. Obviously, everyone wants to win, but I would guess that it's different for everyone. How much winning actually?
I mean,
But even if it, like
if it
me,
goes out of control
Yeah.
and winning is everything, I did not cheat to win this. Okay,
No,
I'm just
yeah.
going to make this really clear
Okay, you
right
jumped
now.
before, you
No, no.
jumped before.
I leaned over my other player and went like, "Is this real S6?" He was like, "No." So everything was fine about that. And then tomorrow we're going to meet a lot of great people that's going to smack my ass.
Yeah, I hope so.
And then Warhammer after.
No, Warhammer after, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, now I actually heard what you said. Okay,
It's
then,
like
yeah.
it's
It's going to be a good time.
we got another Milarki hanging out at another site.
Yes.
Where you can watch it.
That's actually not on YouTube.
No,
It
it's,
starts with
it's,
you, but it's not on the YouTube.
no, it's not with you.
I was talking
Didn't
about
you know
porn.
about our OnlyFans account?
I did not, but I was
Okay.
talking about you porn.
Oh, yeah, we're on there too. Okay,
Good.
yeah,
Have you ever heard about that?
Yeah. Diversification is good.
Oh yeah,
As
good.
I
Yeah,
say,
of
yeah.
course. Yeah. Find
Yeah,
as many places as people can find you.
Yeah.
So I
All
don't know-
publicity is good publicity.
So
That's what it's
some
saying,
people don't know, but we actually have an Honest Wargamer porn account. Not a joke. So we did our Slanesh Battletome review, and then we never put it on YouTube, and then we put it on Pornhub, and it's had no views.
No, you said,
Well, I think it's had like a few, like 2 or 3
Yeah.
comedy views. But when anyone ever asked, was like, "Where's your He Nuts the Slanesh review?" I was like, "Well, the only place it should be."
yeah.
And no one thought that was funny. I thought that was
Yeah,
hilarious.
I did not know that at all.
I might have to go look for it.
I thought that was very funny.
Could be a review incoming here.
I liked the one thing that, okay, we got some criticism for the first casual fighter that we did, where we actually drank some beers. Like, sat down, have a good time, and drank some beers. And then we got some criticism, oh, this is not PG-13. So this show is actually off whack of the PG.
Oh, I apologize.
So maybe
I restarted it, so don't you
okay,
apologize.
alright.
Maybe
Yeah,
we
no.
should just get some beer then.
Yeah.
I would love one.
Yeah. So we're going to be right back.
Here we go. Usually I don't.
Ooh.
Then this is how you make commercials for beer.
No.
Uh-huh.
You go in, spray it, with
use
grease,
that water dropping down,
droplet out there. And there's like 200 lights around, like 2 light boxes before.
This is maybe nothing that you
Cheers.
Cheers.
Skull.
Cheers.
Skull. That you want to have on like the show, but have you always been a non-alcoholic guy, or
I've never drank.
never done
Never drank.
like,
not
at
since.
all?
I've had like I could name the instances
Okay.
where I've had like a
So is it-
celebratory drink.
You never found a reason to stop
No,
drinking that.
I've never been drunk.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, this week.
It's not like it's never.
I don't. If you don't want
No.
to talk about it,
Everyone makes it like their personal choices, right? When they're
Yeah.
live.
You just say as long as you don't make like ideological choices for things like that, I think it's good.
I'm not choosing for others.
No.
I'm just choosing for me.
Yeah.
Actually, it's been one of the things that's been, I think, one of the most rewarding things that I've ever done, but also one of those things that's really ostracized me from other people. Like when do you want to go out for a beer? I think people sometimes feel uncomfortable around people who don't drink. And
Yeah, you get suspicious.
yeah, yes,
but that is true. In Sweden,
In Sweden, it's very suspicious.
if you go out and say I don't drink today, like why? Are you mentally ill?
Yeah.
What the hell is happening here? No, I'm going up tomorrow, or I choose not to, or whatever. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, we don't talk to that.
No.
It is a Swedish thing. It is.
I would say it's like that. If you have to have a reason. You know
Oh,
what I
yeah.
mean? Because I have to go out. I have to drive a car at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Mhm.
Okay, yeah. Then we understand that you but if you don't know, no, I just feel like it. Okay.
Okay.
It's like
Then
staring
you
nervous
transfer to
into the
another
camera.
yeah, get out of here.
Yeah, a little
Get out of
bit.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been one of
It's
those.
weird that we don't like approve of that, but I have looked funny on the guys and girls that are like not drinking in my years.
I have no
and that's
problem with
like-
people not drinking.
I don't have a problem though, but I mean I have the stigma going like, of course you gotta drink, let's have some fun.
I
Whatever.
think
Like,
that's one of those things where,
But-
that's one of those things where that's true of like many things in life. Like you always have to be.
Either you're part of it or you're not.
Yes, yeah. Basically,
Like,
someone said to
part
me,
of a group.
I was like a teenager, and someone was like, "Do you want a drink?" And I was like, "Why?" And they just had no good reason.
No.
And,
Because everyone else, it's the group,
Mm.
the social group mentality.
and I try not to be a contrarian,
No.
but like I think like there's that element where I was like, well, if I don't have a reason, then I won't do a thing, which seems like a fair way to live.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm sorry. Now you're using words that I don't understand. Contrarian, and I am 100%.
Oh,
I really don't know what
a
it means.
contrarian is like someone who like, so if like it's like, oh, it looks like a nice day. They're like, doesn't. They're like, oh, I'm having a good time. You're not. Like just
like someone
It's
from
like,
Örebro.
yeah. It's like
Someone from Örebro.
So it's like
Okay, perfect.
It's like, if everyone's gonna drink, I'm not gonna drink.
Yes, exactly.
It's like that,
Yeah.
Aha, okay.
Yeah,
Out of
yeah.
spite.
Yeah.
That's not okay.
But I've been around a lot of drunk people. In fact, I've probably got a lot more people drunk. Maybe not more than you. Maybe more than you. As much, maybe, as you.
Yeah.
But like, I've got a lot of people drunk, and it doesn't bother me. I love people being happy. And if it what makes people happy, then I'm
Yeah.
happy.
If that's required, then go for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, as long as you don't need it, like being an alcoholic.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go back to Warhammer or
yeah,
something
okay,
else.
Let's do that.
Let's
do that.
But yeah.
If you're suicidal, please call this number. Then just
Yeah.
don't.
So
that was for me. Okay.
It's fine. No, yeah, it's fine. I love talking.
So, yeah, obviously, we do too.
Yeah.
It's like too much fun. Oh shit.
So I thought we could do 10 quick questions.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
And try not to overthink this one. Okay.
I don't know if you know this, but I'm not good at.
What's your
quick answers.
favorite Games Workshop miniature? It's a tough
God,
one.
it's just like they just all cycle through my head. My favorite chaos, like such a miniature. It's not a quick answer. Quick question, but not a quick answer. Oh no! There are so many that I think are like 11 out of 10. I really like the Skitarii and also the Gene Stealer Cole, like just basically infantry range.
Yeah.
Because I think infantry is like super important. It really like tells a story. Yeah. It's really hard not to do characters and choose characters out because they're all pretty fantastic. I'm just gonna arbitrarily pick one, I reckon. Like for the fans, so they're all on my side. Like a Loom Boss on Mangler Squig. No.
No, so Nathan goes like, "Yes, Rob.
Yes, you did it.
Yeah, I'll steal your friend."
There's
Come on now.
Oh god.
5.
There's so many. No,
4.
there's
3.
No. Saurus Knights.
Here we go.
Saurus Knights. That's
You got it on record. We got him. Last night
that's a tough question. I wouldn't know myself, to be honest.
Yeah,
that's why I ask questions, not answering.
The Stormcast Liberator is so easy to paint.
It's easy to paint. Yeah.
Just Slapchop and it's done.
I Slapchop with metallic, contrast over, metallic over again, put on some details, done.
Easy peasy.
Yeah.
That's a good technique.
That's a good technique. The Turkish monks, genius.
Them monks,
Them damn monks.
They invented beer and they invented Slapchop. I mean, come on.
Oh, come on, what else do they need to do?
the
Turkish monks.
They can retire like right now.
I thought it was the Belgian monks who actually brought the beer. Not the Turkish
monks as monks, man. Monks as monks.
Yeah. I don't even know if they know where they're from.
Okay, go back to the quick questions.
Okay,
we've done one.
Quick question.
Yeah.
What's your favorite army?
Favorite army?
Yeah.
Chaos Dwarfs.
Oh, good.
Who?
Chaos Dwarfs. Oh.
Chaos Dwarves. Okay.
Chaos Dwarfs.
Okay,
Duardin, the sons of Hashut.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
Yeah, thank you. They're my favourite. Like, we're pretty certain they're getting released in plastic at some point in the next couple of years.
No. They're actually the next order book in spring. Games Workshop released those.
Absolute rage. That was one of my early Age of Sigmar armies that I would play competitively.
Actually, I really loved when they released for Forge World. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Those trains with the mortars and everything.
The demon engines. Yeah,
I hate the hats though.
We are really good at this 10 quick questions.
Well, I'm not. I'm not very pro old big hat Chaos Dwarfs.
No.
I think that's so. Like, I'm actually pro. Like the actual Forge World range. That's mainly because I don't know if you ever remember, but in Warhammer Fantasy Battle there were 2 incredible books. There was a designer for Games Workshop called Alan Bly. Yeah. Unfortunately, he passed away.
Yeah, he passed away
which is super sad. But he was like one of those people who was just like a super creative. He was just too good at what he did. Yeah. So he basically created this book called Tamrakhan.
That's a lot. I've got it.
It's just a wonderful. Yeah. Well, no. What I was going to say is like I actually think that Tamrakhan and the Monster Arcana, which he did both of those. Yeah. That is how Battle Tomes should look. Yeah. Like Battle Tomes are like these glossy, like almost cartoonish books compared to those. Yeah. They're weighty, they're tomes, they're very expensive.
Yeah, but it's so worth it.
So worth it. Yeah. Like I would prefer if there was one of those every 3 years.
Yeah. And Tamrakhan was, a gorgeous design. Yeah. Kind of like grimy, dark. When they're good stories, good overviews, like they got the maps, they got the stories, fantastic minis. Yeah, with that range.
Yeah. I have no idea what to do.
Well, it's just they did these old. So Forge World, because they're a different design studio inside the Games Workshop. They work basically independently. So during Warhammer Fantasy Battle Days, they produced like these 2 works. Where they were kind of like they were addendums like to Warhammer Fantasy Battle.
Was it like the War Zone thing that you got for
no.
So imagine like how we play Age of Sigmar now. Imagine if Forge World just released a book with a whole other army in, and only they sold it. You'd be like, this is weird. Like there's Games Workshop, and then there's like the Forge World army,
in the same building.
In the same building, yeah.
Super good. It's like a campaign book.
Yeah.
that tells the story of this Nurgle prince who decided to invade the empire. So he goes around the mountains, goes around to come up from the side instead of just striking from above that they always done.
Yeah.
So it's like his story of his journey. It's like a religious journey where he everywhere he goes he amasses new followers.
He adds more to his army, which is, and he's actually like, I think he's like a maggot or something. So what happens is like his initial body dies, like the prince, and then a maggot comes out of him and then invades like this kind of, I think it's an elf, because I haven't read it years ago, like an elf, and then he's the elf for a while, but then eventually the elf gets like smashed by a giant ogre, but then the maggot like crawls out and goes inside the ogre and takes. So the final model that you buy is this giant Nurgle ogre
on top of a giant like lizard toad.
Yeah, on top
thingy.
On top of is it a plague dragon or something?
Yeah,
toad dragon. So it's an awesome mini, but it had a really cool rule back in Warhammer Fantasy Battle days that whenever you finally slew him, if there was like a hero in like contact with him, you could roll a dice and try to take over the hero, and then he became your Tamrakhan, and it was wicked. It was really, really fun.
Yeah.
And that was like, those books were just leagues above the codexes at the time and the battle tomes of now.
Yeah.
And it would be great to see stuff like that again.
Yeah.
Because that was like, it really felt like you were getting the value. They were expensive though. They were like £70, so they were already double the price of a current battle tome.
Yeah, well, this hobby is quite expensive, like as is.
But it was bigger and thicker.
Yeah, huge. It was a huge book. Like, yeah. So bigger and thicker is always better, as I'm sure.
Yes.
Hey, can't argue with facts.
So quick answer, slow answer.
That was a quick question number 2.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so now we're on number 3 of the quick questions.
Okay, this is the double turn mechanic. Good or anus?
Perfect.
Perfect.
Like the interaction. Like if it was something that, like the first argument, it arbitrarily decides games, then why do the same people always do well? So that can't be true. Like straight off the bat.
But we should explain good or anus first.
Let him finish.
Okay.
Oh no, yeah, okay. Well, it's just good. Like, it's good for the game. It makes it more interesting. If you've ever played 40k, then what happened? And I know you both have. You sometimes are like, okay, I can never get that unit because you move faster than me, and this unit is slower than that, and that's the end of the conversation.
Yeah.
But in Sigmar, it always gives you the chance. Sure, does it change and settle how a game works? Of course, yeah. But like, it makes the game far more exciting. Also. I have an argument for it makes the players a better group of people, because you have to accept loss 4 times a game. You and me play a game and we're like, probably gonna lose now, maybe I'll win, roll a dice, and like you win it, and then like maybe you don't win that turn, then we roll again. Like you're constantly at this point where maybe it's going to go against me, and so you have to accept how the dice work.
Yeah, you could be disappointed 4 times.
Yeah, exactly, right? But you could also then still win.
Yeah,
like,
sure.
I bet people have lost all their priorities and then still won the game.
Yeah.
And that really gives you some indication. Like, I think at some point there's some internal reflection and people go, maybe the dice are not that important.
I got a couple of friends that actually tells the story. I always lose priority. But they're not. But they always tell us, I lost the priority. I lost it, and I lost the game because of that.
Well, but it also gives you a good excuse if that's what you like want.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. You're like,
if you need an excuse. Yeah.
If you need an excuse, like if you can't just accept you
low
play
hanging
bad.
fruit.
Yeah, it's very easy. Yeah. So
But that's kind of like dice mechanics overall. Like, the dice could be because I'm famous for rolling bad dice.
Okay.
So it's like that's a thing. You can actually and you could blame it even though you didn't roll that bad. But the dice wasn't with me today. So
exactly.
If that important to you.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, but sometimes you go home with a prize.
Sometimes you roll well.
Sometimes you don't roll good, but still go home with a prize.
Just saying.
I'm going to stop this now. Yeah. This is going way out of hand. Okay, so the 4th quick questions.
It's old world or new world?
Old world.
Yeah. I'm kind of partial to that real nice aesthetic.
It's just more traditional fantasy that we know. I think, like, I love all of the Age of Sigmar stuff, and I like what they've done with it. I just wouldn't mind that being additional elements inside of an old world. Like, because I think the thing that's been missing in Age of Sigmar for a long time is just your basic like human dude living his life, being a larper, trying his hardest, and
working the kitchen or whatever.
Yeah, and because of that, we haven't really had like the grounding. Like I think the new world, like New Age Sigmar world, is more creative and actually really brave, because not just ripping off fantasy and being fantasy, which is such an easy sell, is actually really brave of Games Workshop, because very much like Dungeons and Dragons, they're creating IP. So instead of being like okay, here are some very clearly Germanic infantrymen in fantasy times, they're being like, what if it's a tree warrior? And you're like, okay, that's pretty weird and cool and out there. And they're going to keep creating that IP. And if it keeps growing and being massive like it is, actually they'll end up defining a lot of what fantasy is.
The next generation fantasy,
Exactly, and I think that's really positive.
The problem is so they're going to release the Dawnbringer Crusade at some point, right? And the problem with that is that that's not going to ground it at all, because those people are going away from home on a mission. They're Dawnbringers. They're going outside, or they're raiding, or they're doing whatever.
Yeah, but it's still.
But they're not going to talk about that kitchen guy or the lady who washed the dishes or whatever.
To be honest,
that's a little bit sad.
In the Black Library books, they actually touches a little more on the city life of.
And now is the time where we're going to shout out Liana and her podcast, and we're going to link that down below, because she has.
What's her name? Someone she does the lore thing, yeah.
Yeah, the lore thing in Age of Sigmar. How does the peasant live in the world of Haish or whatever? I don't know the name, but we're going to write it here.
Yeah, we're going to absolutely do shout out there. See if we can find out the name. I remember I heard some part of it, and it's long-sided conversations, but they tried to.
But we're going to promote another Swede, right?
Of course.
Of course.
Yeah. So the fifth. Question.
Quick questions.
The quiz question. Yeah.
So, if you were an Age of Sigmar god, which one would you be and why?
Gorkamork.
Gorkamork.
Yeah.
Why?
I've never argued with anyone as much as I argue with myself.
Yeah, that's actually a very good answer.
Thank you.
That could be like the gold standard of answer. We're going to measure every other answer too.
If we stop now, there's actually a quick question and a quick answer.
Yeah.
There we go. Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah. That's a very good answer. So, have you ever tried open play?
When Age of Sigmar started, open play was like
the only thing.
It was the only thing you could do. Like, it wasn't apart from thanks to Mo. Shout out to Mo Ashraf for creating Mo points, which were the initial points, which led into Saskia GT points, which led into the first iteration of Games Workshop points. So that's how. So never forget that Age of Sigmar as a tournament game was founded as a community-led project.
Yeah.
That's why I'm always really, really push for community-led things in Age of Sigmar, because that's how it started. A multi-billion-pound company were like, thanks for doing that for us, we'll take that now and run with it. But it was community initially, so I'm always, never forget that. But we started out with open play, and I went to a couple of open play, I guess, tournaments, but I guess they were events. Some at Warhammer World themselves, and I knew the event staff at the time, because obviously I live locally. I'd been to some of the Warhammer Fantasy Battle events, and the event staff at the time, I won't name them, but they were like, "This is silly," and I was like, "It is silly. Like, of course it's silly. Everything that's happening is silly." Because I would have to deploy my stuff, and I was playing at that point. I think at that point, Mo points were out, so we had some sort of conscious scope of roughly how much stuff was worth.
So you can go, okay, I am 1,000, you're at like 3,000 or whatever.
Or something in my head.
Because we had, I remember that they introduced roughly wounds. They started counting wounds.
Yeah.
That were kind of like the first iteration of points I came across.
Is that the same thing as like power level?
As Mo
it was just wounds. It was around the same time. There was like a wounds thing, then there was Mo. There was also Azir points, I think, which was in the US as well.
Okay.
But like we were having like 100-person Mo point events in the UK. So like it was, they were like people were desperate to play.
Yeah.
But they needed to put points in.
Yeah.
But I played some open play. I've also been to we had this big event in England called Raw, so Realms at War, which was a narrative. like a narrative-led event.
Yeah,
So
I've read a lot about it.
Yeah, so I've done open play and I've done narrative events as an attempt to experience them. And I would say that like almost always your classic 2,000 point game is always better than those two experiences. And that's not to be derogatory to either of those two, but Games Workshop themselves, to be complimentary to them, have done such a really good job of when I play Caradhran Overlords and you're playing Idoneth Deepkin, you're playing your army narratively because it's Idoneth Deepkin and I'm playing mine narratively. So already it feels like it's a narrative game.
Yeah.
So that tells a lot of the story. And then we're just playing a game, and that just
point
works.
Just makes it fair.
Yeah. Still, it's not even fair necessarily.
Fair.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
But then it still makes it as like a better than open play. So I think that match play Warhammer is the very best version of every other version that exists. Now, sure, there's not like an RPG element that you would get in like, let's say,
narrative.
A narrative play, and you could definitely add that in. But
or
like,
you can just register on Milarki and you have it right
Yeah,
there.
exactly.
Someone else will do the narrative for you.
Yeah, someone else will do the narrative for you. Like, but that's why I'm so excited about that, because being given, because I know we're not, you're talking about after, but we're in an event this weekend, and we're being given some stuff. Like I'm representing a faction. Like I love that you're doing that and that TOs are taking that on, because that's awesome. Like it's never just a numbers game to me. Otherwise, why would I play with toy soldiers?
Yeah,
like,
I have one like really important question.
Yeah.
Okay, because I'm always picture. I never met Mo. I don't know who he is, but I always picture him like the old guy in Karate Kid. Could you confirm, or could you
absolutely?
Like, could you confirm?
Absolutely.
Like you're going in like the all-knowing, a little slightly older guy, and it's like, you should do this, my child.
Yeah.
And just
he
fixed the whole thing.
Fixed the whole thing.
Dice on, dice off.
A little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, Mo's great. Mo's really wonderful. He ran a tournament recently, actually, earlier in the year. It was one of the first events I've been to, kind of like post-COVID, where I played, and it was great fun. And it was wonderful. And I was like, because he was like, I'm going to run an event, and I messaged him. I was like, I'd like 2 tickets immediately, because that's when me and Nathan went to our first events. Like for Age of Sigmar. So we just went and played again.
And as I say, I love the community-driven part of it. You know, that we as a community create things that we're given like a framework, and then we want to do this, we want to do that, so that we want to change it so it fits our narrative or our way of playing.
An important thing to remember is that it was a disaster for Games Workshop.
Yeah,
like it was a disaster.
I remember it was everyone was hating on it. Well, where's the point? How do I play?
Yeah, but
what's the point with no points?
Oh,
there we go. Yeah, like and the but that's just externally. Internally, it was a disaster. Okay. It was a financial disaster. Like they were like, "What do we do?" So if it wasn't for Mo, it wasn't for the tournament, the tournament community creating points. So that's really funny right now when you have anyone online who kind of bashes tournament gamers. I'm like, if it wasn't for you, you might not have this game.
No,
like it might not exist.
It could have died.
It could have
dead right there and there.
It could have died right there and then.
And I'm not a tournament player myself, but in Milarki,
you're not.
in Milarki, it was like we're having a lot of discussions about how things work. You know how and tournament players. However you try to look at it, tournament players are the one they play a lot of games.
Yes.
So they. Even if they change the rules, sometimes you can get angry. Okay, they change the rules. I never use that, or I don't play like that. But they change the rules because of abusive tournament plays. I think that's where the negativity comes from. But in the end, they play a lot of games. So while us more casual gamers, if I play once a month, that's a good month. You know, so we need those tournament plays to play the game, and they're the one who's enjoying it the most, probably, because they've so you shouldn't
and they are helping. Okay, so go back to Rob's first story. Okay, this purple sun thing is killing my army.
Yeah,
I have no idea why. Blah 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 blah. And then you go back to this day and age, or this time here. Okay, so if we play casual, I have no idea. I haven't seen your thing. I don't watch YouTube or whatever. But the rules I have been giving is right here. So the tournament players are actually helping balance casual play.
To smooth out the extreme parts. You know?
And also just providing an answer. Like,
Yeah.
one of the really things I get asked a lot is like, I'd like to get an army. Should I play it? And I'm always like, what sort of player are you? And they're like, I'm pretty casual. And then I'm like, well, then probably don't pick up Army X that's very cerebral, that requires a lot of thinking.
Yeah.
Because why would that be what you do? And they're like, okay, I'd like to play casually. I'm like, oh, you should pick from this army, that way, because the mechanics for them are pretty simple, right? And it's not that you're not smart. You just don't want to invest a lot of time in thinking it through. And that's something that is I love about what the game is that it does have that variety.
Yeah.
It's got that like options for people, and I think that's really positive as well. But like, it doesn't mean that the casual players aren't important. And they're very important.
Yeah.
Like because people are busy, they've got families, they've got a bunch of other stuff. I just think that the tournament gamers are also a valuable part, and sometimes I think that they get criticised.
Yeah.
And I don't think any of it is really justified because I don't really know what they're doing. Not really. Like, whenever you talk about casual players, people are always like, they're casual. Like, oh, I'm sure they're busy, they're doing stuff, they've got other interests. You know, that's fine. You know, I don't understand why people who are fairly obsessive compulsive about something would ever receive criticism, because what are they doing other than just playing a lot? Like, it doesn't seem like a bad thing.
Yeah, and the funny thing about tournament play, since we launched Milarki in June. This year.
Yeah, so 6 months ago.
Yeah, so we went to the Grand Finale, which is a team tournament, huge team tournament, and since then I've never been almost never been to a tournament before. You know, it's so it's very refreshing. We spoke briefly on this on the way here. I never met. Not never, but most of the tournament players are actually very nice persons. So that's like, who would know? Who would know, yeah? Right?
I think also weirdly, like, of course not.
We don't. I say like we don't brag. We don't do whatever.
No, but it's not the most people who said things about tournament players probably have never been to a tournament to actually met these people who helps out. You know, everyone's there to have a good time.
It's going to be so funny tomorrow because we're going to have like you or a lot of top players. Now, like 3 top players, and then we're going to have some people that never played a game.
Yeah, who just played a few games. They got a dad with his sons there playing, and I love the community thing that everyone can join in.
The thing is if you put like, so I very recently was at the event in America called Castle.
Yeah.
And I did a load of interviews. I'm going to put a video out like in the next month or so, where I interviewed a load of the people. One of the questions was to every single person. We're talking about players that play and perform, like play a lot of events and perform very, very well. Like really famous people like Jeremy Vissier, and who's the captain of Team America. Gavin, who's the captain of
Team America.
Yeah,
that's funny.
America, fuck yeah.
And I,
Kill the kid, you motherfucking ass.
And I asked each one of them, I was like, if you play a new player, like you know, like how do you feel about that? And they're like, amazing. I get to be an ambassador for the hobby. I get to be the first person that they like experience like what gaming is like, and I make an effort. Like every single response, I must have interviewed maybe 30 people over the weekend, and every response was in always that. And it's because why wouldn't you? Like you love the thing. You get to be someone's first time doing the thing. Yeah. Like, amazing. Like, that's great.
Yeah. That's what first question.
It's like losing your virginity to an experienced girl or boy. Right?
Yeah, I love
they make an effort to.
I love they put that into context we all can understand. You know?
We can all understand.
That's
hopefully.
That most of us dream about.
So quick question number 7.
Okay, so what's your favorite color in the Citadel lineup?
The contrast green. Oh goodness, what is it? Whatever the contrast green is, the light contrast green. Whatever that is.
The light contrast green.
That color.
Yeah. We don't know.
We don't know yet. I haven't studied it that much.
I can't remember. I was going to say
I love the fact you say studied.
Yeah.
I haven't studied.
I haven't studied it. Yeah.
Since the contrast came in.
No.
Or I haven't picked it up.
I still say bolt gun metal.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. You mean the lead belch, right?
Yeah. To be fair, the black spray that they use, the undercoat spray, Chaos Black, is just a great spray.
Yeah.
Those two.
Those two, okay, yeah.
Could be some nice video when you had like the big one.
There's none of that. They don't exist. There's no videos.
Yeah,
There's none. So the Duncan one is wildly inappropriate. Like there was at one point, so they have Chaos Black Spray, and then they have Chaos XL, which they released for like a year, and then they just made this wildly inappropriate video with Duncan being like a sexual.
He's doing like curls with it, right?
Yeah.
And then it was like also a bit racist because they were like, he's got a black one, so it's bigger, and I'm like,
but is it racist if it's a positive thing?
I think it's at least like reinforcing a stereotype.
Yeah. Okay, stereotypes, yeah.
Like, and I'm like, I'm not sure any of this should have been what you made.
I mean, you could be white and big.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Anyway,
True.
Weird time.
Yeah. So number 7.
We're fine.
Are you ready?
We're swashing through it.
Slapchop or Two Thin Coats?
Slapchop.
Yeah, of course. Because the creator of Slapchop.
Imagine putting a paint over twice.
I had to paint the miniature twice.
I barely want to do it once.
Yeah. I'm with you.
This question is supposed to be like for other people as well. Not
just the creators of
for other people. Yeah, I mean, like the traditional.
No. We're going to ask this question to other.
Hopefully, we'll get
not
to do the other
created
interviews.
Slapchop.
So we have like
Nice.
10 same questions for other ones.
Nice.
Yeah.
So next time we have Duncan here going, okay, Two Thin Coats and Slapchop. We're gonna, two, and then we just cut this question.
Yeah. Perfect.
So, what's the best thing about the Warhammer community?
The people.
The people, yeah.
Like 98% of the best bit is the people, and then everything else is something else.
Yeah, because and I love it because we touched on this briefly last night as well. You traveled a lot and met a lot of people, and and it comes across that it's a very good community, and I talked about this my experience as well. It's a very good community, it's a very positive community.
I mean, I'm also a people person, right? So like I like meeting people, finding out their stories and like their cultures, and so being able to travel. I've been very lucky. I've worked very hard, but I've also been very lucky in that people have like seen some value in what I do, and then I've been allowed to travel to places. So I've felt wildly fortunate for that. But also the people you meet are just amazing. Like sometimes I meet some people, I'm like, I know people that from other places in the world that you two would love if you were like sat in a room together. Like you were like, I met Jesper, I like Jesper. I'm like, that is of no surprise to me.
Yeah, but I've met Jesper through your stream, and that was like,
and he's Swedish.
Yeah, and he's Swedish.
Yeah.
It's 3 hours away from here by car.
Yeah.
But the first time I saw him or met him, when actually found out what he did was through your stream.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
So you're like a facilitator of good things.
Oh, I hope to be. But also, it's also for me as well, like, I don't have enough time already to spend time with the people who I've met from all around the world, who are all brilliant. Like, you don't really even have time. You can't even, like, prioritize it. Like, this person's slightly more, but just like they're in a brilliant camp. Yeah, and that's great. And
so you should do like a barbecue meetup every year, so everyone can come to your place
from all over the world.
Come to Nottingham, descend on Nottingham, like a tired.
What's fun is watching them on their journey as well, right? Like everyone is in like a different place. Some people like almost like my friend Randy. He's from Tasmania in Australia. He's pretty much fallen out of the hobby. He got a young kid. Like he was like, I don't really have time. Wasn't really feeling it. And then, but like he rang me the other day. We just had a chat, and he's like, I might go to CanCon just to hang out. And I'm like, that's cool. And then there are people who it's just the people. Like is the best bit, and will continue to be the best bit.
Yeah,
right.
As long as the double turn mechanics still be there, there's gonna be good people.
Yeah. That's not.
Yeah, it's just that's the criteria.
That's the criteria for staying. Yeah.
Otherwise, we'd be dicks all over again.
Yeah, it's true.
And in a negative way.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because it can be in a positive way.
If
you're interested in that.
I've heard good things about dicks as well.
Yeah. It's just,
So what's the first Games Workshop miniature that you painted?
It was an ogre bull.
Ogre bull.
We just go from dicks to bulls.
So,
yeah, it was a big ball.
okay.
A big, meaty ball.
Okay, nice.
I'm off. Keep on rolling.
People are like, how do you stream for 4 hours a day? I'm like, wow.
I can go 9. I can go 9.
That was only 2 questions.
No,
And then you go out for attention for an hour. How you can go on
Yeah.
for an hour?
Yeah.
No problem.
So Rob, while we have you here,
Blessed to have him here.
yeah, what do you think that Milarki can contribute to the community?
Okay, so
If it's like a more serious question, to be honest, yeah. We always try to pick.
But number one,
brain,
fun. So
Yeah.
that's the non-serious, like that's the serious answer, but like the key part.
Yeah.
But when Bob first explained it to me, and I think it's really important because there's no one else doing it. Like there are people running tournaments, there are people doing tournament formats. But what I like is that you're invested in the narrative or like the global narrative of what the games and events are, and you're not being like do this other thing. You're just being like what you do is integrated into what we're trying to achieve.
But
So-
we just want to say there are a couple of others that do what we like to do, but they're not having like a website. They're usually those. I mean, we have Animosity. We have a lot of other. So we're not going to say that we're the only ones here. But what we did like almost like that when we hadn't had Milarki on the website.
Yeah.
So what we were trying to do was like, okay, let's streamline this. So we don't have to like write everything down and create the story for R10. Let's make it a little bit bigger. I'm not going to take this away from like at all, but I just want to say there are some others out there.
Okay, fair. Yeah, that's nice of you to mention.
Yeah.
Because otherwise we're going to look like dicks. Like we're the only ones to do this.
Yeah.
We invented the narrative game.
Oh, we know where they're coming from. If you put that out.
Okay, how about this? I've never felt I've like, and maybe the other groups have, but I've never felt a group like, which is what your group have tried to integrate with what people are trying to do, which is going to events. Like a huge portion of people who go to events are not there to quote unquote win. They're there to have a good time.
Yeah.
Like, and if they win, then that's great. I would say that most people, maybe 100% of the people, put having fun as the priority of what they're doing when they go to an event. But that doesn't mean that there isn't additional things that you could add to it. And I think what's great about what you guys are doing is that the narrative is actually very important to me. It's very important to like a lot of people. You would think, as someone who's got like the T-Sports network, who like, probably doesn't care about the story very much. That's just absolutely not true. Like, I love the story. I love the background. I love how it integrates, and I love that games. That's the thing I said earlier. I don't understand how people don't see games as narrative, because you inherently create an in-world story and an outside. Like, oh, you rolled a 2 6s on 2 6s you need to save, like, which is your story. But it can be very much like Shalaxi made those 2 6-up saves, lived, and then slew her. Like,
she was falling down, put her like a shield up, or cling cling.
Yeah, you very easily can translate that into tales.
Yeah.
Even when I've been doing coverage of events, there's been stories where a model has done something heroic, and we've turned that into like some ongoing narrative that we've created. So I like, because things like Best Coast Pairings, which is obviously a pairing app, is very much focused on like, you guys, we're going to help you run events. Like, okay, great. Like things like T-Sports Network is like, I'm going to cover your competitive tournaments. We're going to create your stats. Here's how the factions are doing. Here's how you players are doing. But no one's really working on like, okay, we'd also like to add some story. What story do you want to tell? What story do you want to tell before you go? And what story have you told after? And I think that's cool, because that's someone else. Because I can't do anything. Like if you were like, you do it, Rob, but like, I don't have time. It takes other people who are really invested. So I think that's a huge positive. That's my answer.
So that means you're talking about people's when people for the gaming group or for an event that you actually, you don't have to invent a narrative. So you can play and you get some sort of semblance of an easy league or tournament pot system, and you get the story.
Well, the thing is I'm going to hold my hand up now. I've been a lazy tournament organizer. So like I know that if I wanted to, I could message Bob and be like, so I've got an event. So when I come back, I've got an event that weekend in November. and I've got another event in December, and then I've got a bunch of one-dayers in January, in December. And I know I could talk to you guys, and if I just catch myself up for like 10 or 15 minutes, I could be like, okay, this is the story for the event as well. So when I'm doing my briefing at the start, I'd be like, these are all the things. And by the way, this is the overarching story for the weekend. Wouldn't take very much, and I've been too lazy to do it, and something I'm going to do when I get back. But it's not an insult to other TOs.
And you're going to learn a little bit more tomorrow when we actually do it.
Yeah, right, exactly. And I feel like it's just you guys are helping me as a TO and helping the community add a string to our bow. So if someone's there, like, that's cool. Like, even if one person out of your 16 or so people is there, it adds something to their experience. We're creating experiences, right? That's what gaming is. So I think it's great.
Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you so much.
It's just true. It's on the hat.
Would you?
It's on no, it's honest. True is not on the hat.
Okay. I might always wear Honestwargamer merch stuff. Like, it's just honest. It's on the t-shirt. Like,
I love it.
So, to follow up with that, would you like? Do you think would it add value if we made, say we're making. You haven't played the Warcry, of course, but
no.
We talked about that before. But they made connected games. As okay, if you win, then you go to this game and you play that one. So I say, if you make a series like 3 or 5 connected games that's made to play like a tournament,
yeah, I understand.
So with a story, would that be? You feel like would that be exactly what you're thinking about? It's like you don't have to do anything.
I think the more someone else does for you, like when you're at an event, someone's like, you go to that table, and you're like, thank you. Like, and you meet someone for the first time, which is already a lot to do, and then you're playing a game. So I think like when you add, like there are a bunch of, it's a hobby full of like nerds. Come on, like there was a wonderful guy at my last event who was dressed up as a Tyrannosaurus Rex the entire event, right? Great, and he's like, oh, I'm like, what do you do for work? He's like a spreadsheet guy, for the government or something like that. And he was talking to me all about it, and he was like, I do this, I do that. I was like, amazing. And I was like, he's like, I track every game I've ever played. I was like, I use a spreadsheet. It's like, I've gone farther than a spreadsheet, and I'm like, what the hell, right?
Okay, now I need to know how.
Yeah. Then he showed me, and he tracks everything, like every single element of the game, like, and he creates graphs off it. And I'm like, who is this for? Like, it's just for him, but it's part of his hobby, and it's wonderful. But I think that that's not the whole group.
No,
I think there are going to be some people who like wildly invest, and I guess oftentimes when you're pitching. Wildly investing into the idea that, a connected game and everything. But I think when you are creating those sorts of things, you have to be like aware, like, what's your middle of the road player going to be comfortable with? Is there an overarching story for the event? That's great. Like, if I knew at the every end of every round, I knew how my Grand Alliance was doing. I was like, Destruction won 45% of their games last game. Like yes, because very recently I played at an event where me and a load of my friends were playing the same army list. Like, we were playing Reign of Stars. And that felt very much like that. We were on a team, but weren't on a team. We were playing individually, but we were like, let's go. Like, I was like, who are you playing? Like, playing this. I'm like, you're screwed. Like, it was great. So I think if you gave people the facility to do that, I think you can go all the way. And I think people will buy into that, and they'll be excited. And then you can pull it back, and then you can just be like, here's a rough little thing. And I think all of those things are valid. So I think yes.
So we're on the right track.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, well, we got a lot of ideas still, and a lot of thoughts. But if this is the honest conversation that we're having right now, I mean, I think we're over 450 people, users now. In Milarki. And we were talking to Jesper, talking to you, okay, so I loved the episode you did with the BCP. I don't know who.
Oh yes,
what was his name?
Diffie.
Yeah. I was like, okay, so should we do like the tournament, like a pairing system, like a tournament software? And then we didn't spend any time on it because we were supposed to decide now in December. And I watched your show and like, thank God now we don't have to do that.
Yeah.
Like, we are so far behind.
Yeah,
and the BCP people are like far ahead.
They're doing we don't need another.
No,
carry-out,
and
so
we
to
have
speak. Yeah,
Exxon,
no,
and we have a couple of others. And we'll say, okay, let's not jump on that ship. Let's do like something else that could contribute to like the tournament players, so you can actually play both casual and tournament and Warcry at your house or at the tournament or wherever. So something that Milarki can just be like, not a wet blanket over the whole thing, but it's something to take care of everyone.
Yeah, I think that's important. Like I like goals. I was telling you this yesterday. I like faction goals. I like the idea that like there was a guy called Ian Spink who used to play Bone Splitters like all around the well, not all around the world, but all around the UK. And what he would do, like he played Bone Splitters. Bone Splitters' narrative is they hunt monsters. So he had a sheet, right, and he had every monster in Age of Sigmar on that sheet. And he would like play at a tournament. He'd play as many as he could, and then if he killed a Marathi, he'd get to tick her off the sheet, right? And like he would be like, so he would go to loads of tournaments, but he was never allowed to like just casual. You couldn't meet up with him with like 3 of the monsters he needed to kill. It had to be at a tournament every time.
So did he keep this secret to everyone?
No. Everyone knew. So like, if he finally got like, you know, he'd be hunting a Charybdis, and there was one player at the event who was at the Charybdis, he'd be like, "Oh my god, it could happen to them." yeah. So then, and it was, you know, it's very much like a hunter,
exactly.
right?
But he never tried to fudge the pairing.
No. He would just hope, and he would just go through.
It's actually funny that you mentioned that, because we on the table we talked about creating like achievement-based XP for your
Character.
Yeah, for your character or your account.
Yeah.
For your profile.
For your profiles, and one of those are okay. How many is like it's godlike, and then if you kill all the gods like Morathi and you know, then you get the achievement.
Yeah, see, that's
and
wicked.
XP. And in the when you register a game, then it's like it opens up a menu. Did you kill Morathi? Because the system knows if you played Daughters of Cain, yeah. Then okay, what achievements? It's connected to Daughters of Cain and to the match.
Yeah.
Did you kill Marathi? Check. Yes or no.
Yeah.
It's like, so you exactly like that, you know, where you go around and you have like different achievements for and you level up. You get some XP. If you kill all the gods, you get an XP.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. So like that. You know,
Yeah.
so.
I think that's a really that would be something I would be personally very interested in.
Yeah.
That's a fun thing. Yeah.
Because we're actually, as we're talking about.
Oh fuck me! Did I say that?
Yeah, out loud.
I actually did. You know,
the
sometimes
sun,
we hate the sun. Yeah.
Yeah.
We love the sun, but we also
Only
hate
just
the sun.
happened. Only just happened.
Yeah.
It's not always sunny in Karlstad, but yeah.
When it's sunny, it's really
Yeah, there you go.
So okay.
It's gonna be fun to have you see and playing in like a Milarki event tomorrow. Just
Yeah.
like what could it be like?
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
So I think we've could probably talk for hours, but I think we exhausted all the questions we had. You know, kind of like what do you think? You got anything more to say?
Not that it's appropriate for YouTube, no. No, I no. Okay, so no. The only thing that we will try to do is that. Okay, you got one.
I've got one more.
I didn't shoot.
Would you? Our motto is like make every casual game count.
Okay.
For me, it's like what's casual gaming for you?
It's just normally watching Nathan push goblins at me, to be honest. But like casual gaming is just when you play a pickup game that isn't a tournament. And then like even tournament games can be casual games. Like you could just go with like very recently, a lot of my friends have been very much like they've been building lists, or maybe people who I've been talking to more like Adam Mumford and Owen have been very like, I'm just trying to have a laugh with a list, or I'm just trying to play something fun. Like that is something that's like kind of like a common statement I'm hearing a lot recently. That's because these players play at lots of events, and they just like, I'm going to try and do something for me.
But is that a mindset for them?
Yeah, like I think like a lot of what we do in the hobby is mindset orientated. Like a lot of focus. Like recently a couple of people have messaged me about like what, you know, I would like to get better at the game. I'm like, okay. Like, and my first thing is like, how seriously do you take deployment? And they're like, oh, like Like, okay. I'm like, well, like, if it's, you should know before you even start to deploy your models how you're going to win the game. Doesn't mean you're going to win the game, but what you need to achieve. There's like a set of goals.
We are so
Like-
fucking.
And in a bad way, yeah.
Yeah, in a bad way.
No,
Like
what-
twins kind of way.
You are like twins. But the I love that movie.
Cheers.
So you should you should 100% know what you're at least going to try to achieve. Yeah, and deployment is like a subset of like trying to achieve that. Like, that's part of the element. But the thing with that is that already requires you to think very far ahead, and maybe isn't something. But what you can, a very casual way of playing is just like put a couple of screens up, put the boys down. Right, who's going first? Okay, let's see what happens. And that's a very casual way of thinking about the game. It's not really necessarily how I can think about it, but you can. Like, I played Nathan the other day, and we didn't even tell each other the drops. We just started putting models down. And I was like, that's how my army's going to look. He's like, that's how my army's going to look. We didn't ask each other many questions, because I know what his stuff does, he knows what my stuff does. And then we started to play. And that's a casual game. So for me, as like a tournament gamer, you're stepping to like something where you're not asking what are very important questions to play at a certain level, because it's all about information. Casual games is where you're very much just putting stuff down and just trying to have fun.
Yeah.
Like, and then that means that loads of other stuff goes out the window, right? Which are things that are, in my opinion, very fair to think about and ask in like a more serious game, I'd say.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean serious games aren't fun.
But so it's right here where I was like, okay, so when you, Nathan, put your toys down, right? The most important questions for like Milarki is that what could Milarki add right there and there?
There's a story. There's a reason that we're playing. Like at the end, like I could like you said with the gods.
Yeah.
Like if there was a mission to kill every one of the Gobapalooza, then
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh boy. Like, because we're playing a casual game, right?
Yeah.
Like, and I'm like, well, I don't have to, like, I could just be that if for no other reason. When I'm playing a casual game, like you say, just play on a Wednesday.
Yeah, because it's right there Milarki would like to be, right?
Yeah.
Or it's not like the 5-0 tables of a tournament, because those people ask those questions that you talk about, but the 2-1s, the 3 and whatever, it's right there and there. What would Milarki add to that experience?
I think that's what it would add. It would add giving me something to achieve in the game that isn't just winning the game.
Yeah.
And especially if it's my mate, which I assume most casual games are someone playing with their friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want bragging rights.
A smaller gaming group, obviously.
Of course. So you want to be like, you almost want like a list of achievements or story that I can compete against my opponent with. And then my opponent can...
Like some kind of medal,
Some
right?
kind of medal. Yeah, some kind of medal. But like, if there was like the anti-Gits achievement list, like, you've killed the Gobapalooza, you destroyed the Loon Shrine with a monstrous action or something. Like, that was a bunch of stuff. Or even if that was part of a grander narrative, like this month, if you can kill the Loon Shrine, then you get an achievement. You're like, wicked. Oh, could we play Gits next? Could you play your Gits next week? Like, why? It's like, I want to try and destroy your Loon Shrine. They're like, okay, that's fun.
So like ogres come out. If you can kill 3,000 nobblers, you get this achievement, right?
Okay, yeah. How many noblets you kill? Okay, I killed 120 this
The kill count just goes up.
yeah.
So yeah, I think that's what you can add to casual games, because I think sometimes there's, other than seeing your friend, there's no real purpose to the casual game, but you could give people access to reasons to have another purpose.
But as you say, first purpose is always fun.
Yeah.
Have fun.
But having fun is led from the front, right? Like, okay, you and me know this quite well, and I'm sure you know this as well. But like, people sometimes need help having fun. Like, which is kind of weird, right? If I'm honest, but like,
And you are.
Yeah.
It says it on the hat.
It says it on the hat. They need help. They need like a vehicle for fun.
Yeah.
I oftentimes think, and so giving them that is great, in my opinion.
Well, thank you, Rob, for showing up.
My
Appreciate you
pleasure.
having me.
Thank you. I'm really excited to see where the project goes. I honestly am.
Yeah.
Like, I think it could be very exciting.
We're going to see we're going to the tournament tomorrow.
Or event.
event.
Yeah.
And then
I'm going to make so many spawn.
we're gonna probably come back to talk a little more about events and stuff on Monday. So it's like when we had it, and we're going
Post event. Yeah.
post talk. Yeah.
Okay, great, yeah.
If you're fine with that.
Oh yeah, no, I'm really excited about that. I just, as a kind of prefix, I'm trying. So I built, because I know it's a casual event. Well, that's what's really fun about being a tournament gamer. It's because I know it's a casual event. I can be like, what weird stuff can I try to do? Because I'm not like under any pressure or anything like that. So then I built like a Zinch list, because I'm really excited about the new Zinch book, to just make as many spawn as possible.
I love it.
Right? And
I
then,
love that. Yeah.
So like I don't have to be like, what's the best 1,000 point list I can play?
No.
Mine's
But,
like,
but that's good. Do you feel pressure going to tournaments?
as a content creator, you always feel pressure going to
Because
tournaments.
you're Rob down as wargamer. You were like, I do stats, I do this, I do that.
Yeah,
And if you go 0 and 5, it's like, oh, how good is he then?
it's embarrassing.
It is
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah, when I went to work at Games Workshop, I was like, I have to make sure the people who I'm playing are having more fun than I care about winning.
Than I care about winning.
Because I'm
Than I care about.
Yeah. Because I'm representing the company.
Yeah.
Like some members of the company really could learn that lesson, in my opinion. But it's a side note.
That's what we were thinking when we came to Grand Fanatic. That's why we came like second to last.
Because you were like, you just want to rep. Oh
no, we were representing Milarki, so that's why we lost. Bullshit.
yeah. But that said, like, I mainly talk about tournament gaming. So if I do badly, that's embarrassing. Like, like
for your brand,
for your brand.
But like, I've tried very hard to uninvest myself from that.
Yeah.
Like, but there is a pressure, but it's a pressure I try to ignore, because what I really want to do is have a good time.
Yeah,
that's what I want to do and play well.
Or both. Yeah, exactly.
I've got another question.
Oh yeah.
Kind of like an uncharacteristically non-narrative question.
Okay, yeah.
To be honest, yeah.
Here we go.
Because
what's the best list for Sunlight?
Yeah. All the tournaments, everyone does 2,000 points.
Yes.
It's like very standard.
Yeah.
And the meta is somewhat created around 2,000 points. Yeah. So, in your opinion, being both a content creator that looks at statistics and everything, and being a tournament player, how does the meta change when you set it to 1,000? When you limit it to like 1,000 points, and like we're limited no more than 300 points per model. How does the meta change?
We should say that we stole a lot from him. Because you put up,
I ran a couple of 1,000-point tournaments.
But
so
that's pretty cool. I'm really curious about how the meta
changes significantly.
Yeah,
it changes significantly. Like the battle plans change massively. How important each unit is wildly different. Especially with there's a points cap right at 330 points.
Yeah.
So you can't like have like big monster characters, which is sometimes a game defining in a way that I don't enjoy at all. I really think we could probably do away with all of the god characters from the main game.
Like always.
Because I think it crunches the game down, because you always have to be like, if I face Archeon, can I kill him? And if your answer is no, then like, but like that's pretty rough. So then that means you immediately have to create this hammer block that can just wipe out a god in a couple of turns without dying back. And that's a significant investment in resources, so it defines what the lists are. But 1,000 points, when you scrap a lot of that away, you end up with this very interesting kind of like other metagame where there are some still very efficient war scrolls at 1,000 points. Summoning becomes a little bit too strong. There's a bunch of other stuff. But it's just interesting. And I think it's fast, which is really cool.
Yeah.
You get to meet new people. It's fair to say that, like, as a casual player, putting 2,000 points on the board takes a lot of time. The opponent does the same, and then their turn can be quite a while, and you're like, it's a bit of a slog. Why wouldn't you play 1,000-point games very consistently? Because they're a little bit more rapid, a little bit more fun. It's just that they're not very balanced at 1,000 points.
And also a great thing to get new people in the hobby, right?
Yes, because it's far more achievable. You buy one of those new Vanguard boxes, you're
done pretty much.
Yeah, you're close to some sort of rough army. Are they balanced against the other Vanguard boxes? No. Yeah, but you have something, and you're learning the mechanics. Like if someone was new, I'd very much encourage them to do a bunch of 1,000-point games with restrictions.
Yeah.
Versus doing 2,000-point games, and then I'd be like, right, time to step it up because then we'll just learn more. Like, so yeah, I think it's cool, and I wish more TOs would push the 1,000-point thing around the world, but they probably won't.
But is it 2,000 point or 1,000 point, or is it 2,000 or 1,250 or 1,500?
I just think 1,000 points is easy.
Yeah.
Also, because Games Workshop have some if you play 1,000 points, you only need 2 battle line.
Oh yeah, that's true.
That's actually
The pitch battle is for 2,000 and 1,000.
It's actually a rules category, you know. So 1,000 points, play with this board, these.
So that gives you some nice sort of dynamics as well. So I think that's really helpful. And I think again, if you're talking about casual players or people who want to play, also the idea that 1,000 points are valid. Because sometimes people can feel like I haven't played a 2,000-point game, so my game wasn't valid. You know, because that's the standard, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah, but why not do like? Oh, I'm not going to brag now, but why don't you do like you did or like we do now as TO? Make it valid.
I think because people are like
put on events.
People have a hard time. I think putting on events. People want to put events on.
Yeah.
And I think also, I mean, even if you play a lot of Warhammer, you still probably can't play all of the armies and games you want at 2,000 points. Like so. Being like, let's do something else, like, or detracts, like, is something different. Like, it's what the hobby's always going to be. It's something we could probably all do Monday through to Friday, but we only get, at best, a couple of weekends, maybe a year. So it lives in our heads a lot more than it lives on the table.
Yeah.
And so people probably just pick the thing that is the thing that they... If you've been dreaming all year of going to the 2,000-point event, maybe the 1,000-point is a hard sell. I'm not sure. Like, but I think... Again, culturally, like we learned from Mo, we're a community where things grow.
Yeah.
And you just got to like pour water on it and it'll...
So yeah,
or just accept the fact that, okay, the standard is 2,000, but you can also do 1,000. Who cares?
Yeah,
right?
that's the point.
We're taking it back, the 1,000 points.
Yeah, there you go, yeah, bringing it back. Yeah, I love the 1,000 points. I think it's great.
So, thanks again, Rob.
Oh, it's the second thank you. Thank you so much.
Fist bump and a handshake. Yeah, I've loved it. It's great.
Now we have shouted you out a couple of times for our 34 listeners, but we are so much appreciated of you as a person, as a content creator,
and for our
launching Milarki.
For our
it's good.
For our subscribers and our peeps. Rob has his own channel.
I do.
You could.
I do if I don't mind me shouting it out.
No, yeah, do shout out so they can find your channel. Where can they find your channel?
Yeah,
because if we don't shout you out, then we won't be recognized as well because we can use each other right now.
Yeah. So my channel's called Rerolling Ones. I mainly make bat reps. If you'd like to check it out.
Yeah.
I think they're quite good. Yeah. So if you ever want to check that out, it'd be great. Please do.
Yeah.
So that's a lie, but thank you so much.
Yeah, but probably the best Rerolling Ones shout out we've ever done.
Yeah, okay, good.
To be honest.
No, but you stream on Twitch.
Oh yeah, Monday through to Friday I stream on Twitch, which is really fun. Like 11-ish till 1.
That's 12 o'clock Swedish time.
Yeah, 12 o'clock Swedish time, and I do that every week, and then hopefully from the new year because I'm launching my own thing. I've soft launched it already, but I'm going to be live every Sunday doing.
We're looking forward to that. I think we're going to come back to that later.
Okay, great.
No, well, not now, but because we like that the objective zone thing. So
yeah, good.
I want to be involved in some way.
Okay, great.
So
now you finished your shout.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, done. That's it.
Yeah.
Just come and tune into me if you want to or don't want to. Like whatever.
Yeah. Or just
and
be
you will
YouTube thugs.
Yeah, I'll be a YouTube thug. And there's a podcast, I guess, if you want to listen to that. Like, I'm not like just do what you like. Be happy. That's great.
Yes. Sir.
So keep telling stories
and make every casual game count.
See ya.